Hey friends, it's Rick here with your market update for Thursday, September the 8th. As you can see from the model, a slight improvement today, which we'll see in the charts in a minute or two. Personally, I did very little today. I spent the day golfing, but I did trim one position and had one nice little day trade before I headed to the golf course. So looking at the charts, start with the small caps. Get this out of the way here. It's another green day. We can see now the 8-day moving average is now starting to flatten out. And so day 2 of green looks good. Mid caps, basically all of these patterns will be pretty much the same. If we recall from my video yesterday or day before yesterday, this was my sort of visioning tool, how I thought the next couple of weeks may play out. So first day out, it's covered up my purple line, so we're bang on so far. NASDAQ, a little bit weaker than the other two, but still right at the 8-day moving average. All of the 8-day moving average is still in the downtrend. And Standard & Poor's up 0.6% today, is now actually closed above the 8-day moving average, and you can see it started to curl. So signs of positivity, but you can certainly see what I talked about the other day. There's some headwinds in here, more headwinds here, and then if we get past all that, we got more headwinds here. So still caution. I am 55 in my stock portfolio, 55% invested, still have 45% cash. And in the longer term accounts for indexes and sectors, I'm still 100% cash. Toronto fared a little better, 0.95, almost up 1% today. But all of these patterns look pretty much the same. As far as sectors go, in Canada, the banks did well today, up almost 2%. But still they're well below the declining 200 and declining 50. So of no interest to me quite yet. In the US, natural gas was up 3.5%. I personally, I don't trade this one because it's so volatile. There's big intraday swings, but it is kind of interesting. It has now fallen back to the 200-day, mushed around here. If it could climb up, it might be worth. I won't take a shot at this because it's just a little too volatile, and there is so much overhead resistance here. Uranium had a good day, up 3.5%. This actually looks quite interesting. But tomorrow being Friday, I'm going to pass and we'll wait for the weekend and see what happens next week. But it had a good day. And then blockchain was up also 3.5% today, but that's 3.5% off a deep bottom. And then biotechs were up over 3%, which is mildly interesting. But again, nothing to do here. In my own portfolio, just quickly go through. ARLP hasn't done anything bad, hasn't done anything good, hasn't hit my stop yet. If it does here, I'm going to trim this position, and because I really like this weekly, I'm going to trim it so I can hold on for a bit more of a higher stop. ASAI still looks really good, but there's a buyer quietly buying anything over 1830 to 1850, but they won't refuses to pay up. I was in at 1829, and so this to me it sounds counterintuitive. I sold it today for 1828, take a 1 penny loss, and I'm just going to wait. This is a safer buy if we pay up and pay 1860, 1865. It's actually a safer buy than trying to guess down in here, because that's all I did was guessing. And the risk is it could just flip over like this. But if it clears out all of the supply, then I'll be back into this one. Enphase, about a couple of days ago, here at 284. I've scaled out a bit around 300, scaled out some more at 315. and I still have a quarter of my position with an 8% stop. So my stop is just under $300. And if I do get stopped on that, I'll certainly be looking to re-enter. And I think this one is going much higher. EVH had another good day. My entry is down here at 36 and change, 36.70, I think it is. So it's up. It actually took out this prior high. Remember, I talked about overhead resistance or overhead supply. So that got taken out. So my hope is actually, if I go back to my vision tool, that if we just base here and do something like this, and then go up, this will be another really good entry point. But we'll see what happens. Global Partners did nothing. But it is consolidating here. The range is getting tighter and tighter and tighter, and still holding the 8-day moving average. And my expectation is that we're going to get a nice run up here in the next couple of days. My stop is down here. And then Harmonics is the last position I have. It again is doing well. I'm in down here at 72.77, I think it is. So we're up about $3 or 2%. What is that in percentage terms? About 3%. And still got to chew through all of this supply here, but this one's still looking good. So that's it. Oh, I wanted to show you actually the day trade I took today. This is, the symbol is SSO. And this is what I was looking at before the market opened this morning. Go back to yesterday. So this is before the open. And the SSO is a proxy for the Standard & Poor's, except it's one of these leveraged one. It is 2 times leverage. So for every dollar or every 1%, let's say the S&P goes up, this will go up 2%. Conversely, if the S&P goes down 1%, this will go down 2%. So it is more volatile. So it's not usually used for longer term investing, more for 2-3 day swing trades or intraday trades. But with this one, I saw this resistance here. And then we had a lot of support down here. So I had these lines drawn on my chart and said, okay, that's sort of the upper boundary and lower boundaries. Let's see what happens. And this, when it opened down and then quickly regained. And I have a day trade strategy, basically, that is, if it goes above, I mark off the 5-minute bar. And if it goes above the 5-minute high, I buy it. My stop is below the 5-minute low. And so I bought this one at 48.69, I think was my entry point. And it went up nicely. I took a tiny piece off here at 49 and I think 49.10. Then it reversed. I put my stop back to break even, 48.69. So at least might make a tiny profit, or if I got stopped out. But then it quickly reversed back up. I took another piece off here when it crossed over this resistance area here. And then I said, okay, it's going to have a tough time getting past here. So I took the last piece off and headed to the golf course. And that turned out to be a pretty good move. And that's what happens basically the rest of the day. For you shorter term traders, you might notice this magenta line on here. This is the 5-day moving average, even though this is transposed on a 15-minute chart. There's a bit of math involved in setting up the parameters for this this particular moving average, but it is extremely useful to gauge where the support and resistance are for the last 5 days. It really helps me pinpoint my entries on my longer term swing trades. So if anybody's interested in how the math is calculated to put this on your charts, by all means, reach out to me. So that's it. That's all. We'll talk to you tomorrow.